listening to I Am Refocused Radio with your host, Shemaiah Reed. This show is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. And now, here's your host, Shemaiah Reed.
Welcome back to I Am Refocused Radio. Once again, we are here back today, and man, can't believe how fast everything is going. It's already July. I can't believe that, man. Like, before you know it, it's going to be snowing. Maybe not in Texas, but throughout the United States, it's definitely be snowing pretty soon. But first and foremost, I want to say happy Friday, everybody. We have a returning guest today, Amy Lenius, and she is not a stranger. She's been on the show not too long ago, but we're going to have a part 2. Last time we talked, I got to look at my notes, we talked about redefining success from the inside out. Today, we're going to dive deeper. We're going to talk a little bit about self-worth and also alignment. But just as a quick review, she is a personal development and success coach. She's a dynamic speaker, and she is the director of group coaching at the Next Level University. You go to their website, nextleveluniverse.com. Welcome back to the show. Amy, how you doing?
Oh, I'm so good. I'm in the same mindset. Oh my gosh, it's July, and I'm up in Canada, so we absolutely get snow, and I'm already anticipating how much of summer can I really squeeze in, because it's such a short season for us up here. But I am so glad to be back. I loved our conversation so much last time, and I'm really excited to do a part 2 today.
Well, we're happy to have you back. Much love to Canada. Make sure you spread all that love. I know, all right, I got it. I know we're flowing, but I don't know if you're a Drake fan. I'm a Drake fan. So if you like that Iceman stuff, yeah, you got a lot of fans in the United States. We love Drake. I don't care what anybody say. But anyways, when you think about self-worth, that's something that we see talked about and explored a lot of times on platforms, even news. I mean, mental health, mental awareness is always a big thing, I think, ever since after the pandemic. So when you think about self-worth and being in alignment, what are some of the key factors for a person to catch themselves so they feel like, wow, this is probably not good, I need to readjust?
Well, especially that last part, catching yourself in self-worth. I think it's really, really important to understand what it is so that you can catch it, and then really empowering questions, asking yourself really empowering questions in those moments. And I'll give you those, but let's define it. I think last time we talked about self-belief, and self-worth is a different aspect. Self-belief was self-efficacy, you believing in your ability to achieve an external outcome. Not that you know how to do everything all the time, but you believe in your ability to ask someone for help and implement what they tell you. With enough time, you believe you can learn and implement what you learn. It's your belief in your ability to achieve an external outcome. Self-worth is the internal game. It's if and when you believe you're worthy of that goal, of that outcome, and the standards you need to hold socially and with yourself along the way. Self-worth is boundaries, social courage, investing in yourself, being very aware of comparison. Are you doing it to a detriment? That would be low self-worth. Or are you doing it for inspiration? That would be high self-worth. Self-worth is, if self-belief is, with enough time and effort, I can make a house. Brick by brick, I can make this house. Self-worth is, do I feel worthy of living in such a beautiful space? Who's coming into my house, and do I allow them to spill red wine on the carpets and still invite them back? So self-worth can be described as your self-respect, but your self-esteem, that's the word I'm looking for. You can be tied to words like self-esteem and self-respect. And self-respect, I think, is a deeper form of self-worth. I think it's a more challenging form. So when I first started this work myself, I came in with really high self-belief. I believe in my ability to figure something out and implement and create the result. Really low self-worth. My self-worth was tripping me up a lot, especially socially, and lack of boundaries and things. I did really well with investing in myself. I never struggled there, but social courage, being my authentic self in social situations, was really hard for me, and implementing boundaries with people that I loved and really wanted to keep in my life. which as a people pleaser with a hero complex was way too many people that I was holding no boundaries with because I just wanted all of them. And so this work has increased not only my success, but my holistic success, my health, my relationships, the things that matter most to me, and my monetary success in my career as well. And asking yourself, does this increase or decrease my self-worth, is a really great place to start. This person, place, thing, idea, belief. Is it for my self-worth or is it against it? It's a really great place to start. And then a deeper layer, and one that I use constantly now, is does this increase or decrease my self-respect? And why I love that is it's because it's typically the harder choice. Self-respect and self-worth might as well be a poster child for discomfort now, for greatness later. Building self-respect is very, very uncomfortable.
That's good, because it is a marathon. It's not something that happens overnight. And I know people know that, but it's funny how we forget, right? I mean, some of the simplest things in life we forget and we don't appreciate until it's too late or it's gone. When you think about when someone says, I should be happy, but I'm not, where do you usually encourage them to start looking first when they are experiencing that moment?
I typically actually focus on the word should. Should can lead to these like shame spirals. Should is a funny word. It's not I desire, it's not I want, I would like to be more happy, I don't feel happy, it's I should. Should is almost this like projection, and I like to say to my people, like, I need you to quit shoulding all over yourself. We need to dissect this. And what does that mean? Is that it's typically some sort of external pressure. Someone is projecting something onto you, or early on in life, something was projected onto you about what life should be, what happiness should be, or it's something in yourself that is saying you're not good enough, you should be this, and this. And there's room for that, for sure. I'm not capable of this thing yet, and I would like to be. That's more of a positive way. But when it's a should, it's typically from this scarcity, shame, weird space. And so I always dissect the should first. And then happiness. Happiness is so subjective. Joy, fulfillment, those are deeper than happy. I think happy is something superficial and fleeting. It's a wonderful emotion. It's great. When I'm sitting at watching Netflix with a pint of ice cream, I'm happy. I think that's a good thing. I'm happy, but I'm not in deep joy or fulfillment or purpose. It's kind of how you know. If I did that all the time, my life actually wouldn't be that great. Happiness is typically rooted in like a pleasure-centered paradigm, and those are great for us to tap into, but typically we don't want to live there all the time, because if done over a lot of time, they become actually a detriment than a positive. And so we also discern, like, what does that mean to you? What does happiness versus joy versus fulfillment mean to you? And how can we cultivate all three while making sure we don't live in that superficial happy space all the time, and we're really pushing hard for the joy and the fulfillment more?
Once again, listen on Refocused Radio, watching us online, talking to our guest today, Amy Lenius. Go to their website, nextleveluniverse.com. She's a personal development and success coach, also a dynamic speaker, and the director of group coaching at Next Level University. We're talking about self-worth and alignment from the inside out, part 2. Look at my notes real quick. Last time we talked was redefining success from the inside out, and we're just continuing that about self-worth and alignment. My next question for you is, I hope people kind of explore the idea of what does it, or what could it, or what, how can it look for a person who's trying to rebuild their internal foundation? Because what's some of the things that you notice when you're working with clients when they feel like their foundation is cracking, but they don't want it to go all the way to distraction? They want to, catch that before it becomes a major problem.
Yeah, typically I have a little moment of celebration. When we're putting cracks in the foundation, it's because it wasn't stable to begin with. It wasn't a solid foundation. This foundation wasn't built on who you truly are and the things that you really believe and the values that you have and the identity that you have and want to build into. So if there's cracks in the foundation, amazing. Love that. However, like you said, we don't want it to crumble into nothing. And if people can come in with the self-awareness that, hey, I'm crumbling a little bit, I don't want to fall through. I think that's a really powerful moment of self-awareness too. So I celebrate them in that. And I think the personal development space and things, we get a lot of this toxic positivity, for lack of a better term, where everything should feel good. Everything should be momentous. If you're not following a yes or chasing certain feelings and not, avoiding these other ones that are so valuable, even though they feel terrible, I think we're doing people a disservice. I think growth and success and a growth journey and a success journey, those are very intertwined. I think we need to fall in love with the deconstruction just as much as we do with the construction. The construction feels momentum and exciting. You learn something new, you implement something new, you see the needle move towards the goal. Like, that's exciting. But if you're not doing the deconstruction of the things that are not serving you, that are getting in your way of that goal, of the result, of your growth, of your success, then you're only going to get so far. And that foundation will start to crack if you're not building from that space of identity. And so we do a lot of work with beliefs. Beliefs can change. You have a lot of them. You have so many of them, actually, unconscious and conscious. And some of them are for the goal, for the life that you want, and a lot of them are against. And so tapping into the things that are against the goal, against the dream, doesn't feel good, but it crumbles the things that are in the foundation that shouldn't be there in the first place. And shouldn't, again, is that weird word. They're there for a reason. They've either protected you, they were built up into you through your upbringing, through your environment and things, but it doesn't mean we have to keep them. It doesn't mean that they're serving you now. And then there are beliefs that maybe haven't been loud enough, or you haven't been validated in or given permission that they are important just because they're yours, or they go against something that maybe, again, you were brought up in, or your version of success goes against something that was told to you growing up. And so that's you just breaking down the foundation and building your own. And I think self-belief and self-worth are huge parts of that foundation. They can create such a solid foundation, but there are awarenesses and skills that you can continuously grow and build over time. You can always get more self-worth, more self-belief, and you're going to be challenged along the way in those arenas. And so the stronger you are in those two, the more success you're going to have, the more belief you're going to have in your ability to rebuild that foundation when those cracks are there.
And speaking of challenge, belief is great, but would you say, or would you agree that belief without discipline is chaotic?
That one it's almost like the chicken and the egg. Belief actually helps create discipline, because the more action you have, the more action you take, it creates more belief, and the more belief you have, the more action you're going to take. And discipline's a funny one, because discipline is fleeting. It's like motivation. You're not always feeling disciplined. You're not always feeling motivated. But I think when you're not feeling motivated, to tap into discipline is a way to look at it. But when it comes to, let's say, being consistent, three, like self-belief, self-worth, and consistency, those show up in all realms of success: personal, social, economical. Your ability to be consistent can't always be based on motivation, can't always be based on whether you're feeling disciplined or not. It deeply needs a level of self-belief. You need to believe in the thing that you're trying to be consistent in. So let's use it as a daily habit that you're trying to implement into your life. You have to believe, one, that it's possible for you, and that it's going to be worth it. Because there are days when you don't feel motivated, you don't feel disciplined, but you're going to tap into that worth it factor, that the results that you're going to get if you choose to do this thing every day is going to be worth it. And so action is what builds belief. So there's a loop there somewhere.
In action, I'll let you fill in. I say in action what would be the finishing statement for that?
Yeah, action creates belief. Belief creates more action. There's a feedback loop there, for sure. But that's why it can be really challenging for people to get started, because if you don't believe in yourself, it's hard for you to take action.
Yeah.
But if you don't take action, you're not going to build more belief. And so we just do our best to empower people all the time with messy action is okay. Imperfect action is okay. It's better than nothing. Always. Progress over perfection all the time. And people sometimes just need a lot of permission and validation in that to be able to take that messy action, to let go of perfectionism, which can be rooted in self-worth and things as well. To take the action, to be consistent, you actually need to be imperfect. If you expect to do something perfectly every day, you're not going to be consistent in it. There's no way. Life is too reactive. There's only so much proactive things we can do in a day, and it's delusional to think that there aren't reactive things that are going to happen. And so we have 5 points to consistency. And the first one is self-belief. It's that, do I believe it's possible? Do I believe it's possible for me? Is it going to be worth it? The second one is humility. Accurate view of self so that you can implement number 3, which is something that is sustainable. You need to know yourself, your life, your world as it is right now, not what you want it to be, not what you're building it to be, as it is right now, so you can put something sustainable into the day. That's, I think, one of the biggest ones I see is people are creating something that is unsustainable or trying to implement something in their day that is unsustainable. It's like people who have never worked out for an hour consistently every day or worked out consistently at all, start at, well, I'm going to start doing an hour at the gym every day. Oh my goodness, that's going from 0 to 10. I love that you have that level of enthusiasm, and I love that that's where you would love to get. But if you go from nothing to an hour at the gym every day or more, people will push for more. You're going to go for 3 days. You're going to be exhausted. You're going to be so sore, and you're going to convince yourself that either you are the problem or the gym is. When in reality, you just didn't set yourself up for success at all. We need to go for 30 minutes. We need to make the goal just getting in the door. We need to start at home even. For me, I have to do it at home. The gym isn't even in my realm of being able to be consistent. So I had to let that go and do things from home. That's my version of sustainability. So I can be consistent with my fitness every day. So self-belief, humility, so that you can be sustainable. And the fourth one is adaptability. There needs to be some level of grace because life is chaotic. And there are so many things that can take a plan off the rails. If your goal is to be fit and tap into fitness more, and let's say your goal is to do it every morning, before the kids wake up, before you start your day, you're going to do it every morning. But this morning you woke up and the kids were already up and they're sick. It's already off the rails. Now, adaptability isn't, I take the day off. Adaptability is, it didn't go the way I planned. I don't have all the energy I have to give. I only have about 30% energy because now it's the end of the day. It's the end of the day. I've been taking care of sick kids all day, but I also told myself I've moved my body for 30 minutes every day. And instead of the gym or weights, today it's going to look like a walk or mobility on the floor because my kids are here and they need me. But I'm going to keep the promise I make to myself because I'm going to pull in number 5, which is grit. You need grit on the days where you don't have discipline, don't feel motivated, it went off the rails, you don't have the energy, the time, the capacity, but you do have to get it done because you said you would and you're committed to doing this habit every day to get the result. And you have to pull in grit. Grit is just that F my feelings moment. I don't feel like doing it. I said I would and I'm going to. Pulling in the grit, allowing for adaptability. Give yourself a check-the-box version of the habit. This whole rant that I'm on started with, you can't be consistent in something if you expect it to be perfect all the time. It doesn't exist. So where can you be consistent in the mess? That is where success comes in. You giving yourself consistent 30% days rather than spotty 100% is where the compound effect is going to start working for you. And that's what consistency is all about.
When we think about commitment, we commit to something, whether it's good or not good, whether it's healthy or not healthy, whether it's light or if it's dark. I'm going to go back to what a person told me years ago, and this person said, You either feed your faith or you feed your fear. Both are hungry. You have to choose which one you're going to feed. And not to make it simple, because life is very complex. I don't know everybody's situation. But when you think about what do I want to end up becoming, or what was my main goal at the end of the day, I want to jump on what you said about on the hard days, you do something versus nothing. I think that's powerful, because maybe I won't do a 3 set of whatever. Maybe I just, okay, today was a crappy day. I'm still going to get 10 push-ups before I go to sleep. I think that's powerful, because when you do that consistently, obviously you don't want to make excuses, say I have bad days for the next 3 months, so I'm doing 10 push-ups before I go to sleep. I mean, that's not bad, but that's not, that shouldn't be the end goal. You always want to grow and increase. But what you say to the person who might be in that dark cloud, which we all are at different times and seasons of our life, what you say to the person who feels maybe they spent years being strong for everybody else, but what does it look like for them, him or her, when they finally look at themselves in the mirror and say, you know what, I'm just tired.
And we attract a lot of those people, actually. We attract people with high self-belief and low self-worth. So people with high self-belief get a lot done, and they do a lot, but it's always at the expense of themselves. That's a low self-worth move. That's a hero complex move. When it comes to the archetypes of villain, victim, hero, and guide, the hero has high self-belief, low self-worth, will constantly try and climb the mountain, dragging everyone else at the expense of themselves. So we'll dissect into that. And I love the concept of faith over fear. I mean, both are loud. Fear, unfortunately, is typically louder. It takes more effort to drown out fear than it does to listen to something good, whether it be your faith, your belief in yourself and things. And what I love about the consistency framework that we just did, when you choose to do the 10 push-ups at the end of the day, even though it's not as much as you would have done on a regular day, let's say, you're pulling in grit, you're getting something done. That means you're keeping the promise you made to yourself. And every time you keep a promise you make to yourself through action and things, you're building self-worth and self-belief. And what's amazing is it starts the cycle all over again. 5 feeds back into 1. The more you grit it out and do the things you say you're going to do, the more belief you build. And the more belief you have, and the more humility you have, your sustainability, that number 3, that grows over time. Your capacity grows the more you run this cycle. So you don't want to say automatically start adding on more. I think some people need guidance in that and permission in that, but that's your permission to, okay, I've done 30 minutes of moving my body in some way. I'm going to bump it to 45 now because I have the capacity to do it. 30 minutes just feeling really, really easy. That's a great place to get to, but it's because you ran the cycle enough to grow your capacity. And I love seeing people.
Once again, listen on Refocused Radio and watching us online, talking to our guest, Amy Lenius. She is a personal development and success coach, dynamic speaker, and director of group coaching at Next Level University. Go to the website, is nextleveluniversity.com. We're talking about self-worth and alignment, and man, I'm telling you, ice on the stove, man. I can't believe it's 23 minutes, man. But my next question for you before we wrap up for today is, what's the difference? We've been talking about discipline, but I'm going to frame it in this way. What is the difference between discipline that comes from self-love versus discipline that comes from self-punishment?
Ooh. There's a huge difference. What the weird little nuance there is that one works for some, one works for others. It's which one works for you, which one is at a detriment to you, and knowing that about yourself. Now, most people want to say that you'll always lean more into love. It's not always a motivator for people. And it depends if it's a conscious or unconscious thing as well. If something consciously motivates you, that's different. It's not running you, you're running it. So our CEO, co-founder of Next Level University, business major, computer engineer, genius, Alan Lazarus, he is so motivated by being an asshole to himself. But it's because he has such high self-belief. It's not to a detriment. He's not actually doing detriment and harm to himself. He's just like, you can do better. You know you can do better. He has very high standards, very high self-belief. So that kind of talk actually really, really works for him. Whereas if you have low self-belief, that kind of talk is detrimental to you. It's going to cause you to freeze, and you're not going to be able to push yourself past what that kind of talk does to yourself. There's two separate languages in that. High self-belief language and low self-belief language. If I speak to someone with high self-belief in a language that is for low self-belief people, they're going to be like, what is this? And vice versa. I'm going to do so much damage if I speak high self-belief language into someone who has low self-belief. So not only is it really important to know that about ourselves, what is truly motivating to me but not detrimental, it's important for the people in your life who are speaking into you to know that as well. Now, it's always you having you need to be in charge of who that is, for sure. Like, you always have to have that level of discernment, who's speaking into your life, who you're allowing to do so. But let's say you are interested in having a coach or a mentor or a therapist or something like that. That's a little flag for you to notice. Is that a green flag or is it a red flag? That's a really good one. I see that in coaches all the time, and I love helping people become better coaches. I'm learning to discover that love within my work is to help other coaches just excel in their work by understanding these fundamentals and these principles of how they can support other people. But at the end of the day, it is your responsibility who speaks into your life, and your language with yourself should be loving. But again, I say should because it's not necessarily. Some people have a lot of love for themselves. People who have inflated self-worth, so not true self-worth, but that inflated self-worth that I deserve regardless of my effort. Those people do not need to speak that kind of language into themselves anymore. They're already there. They actually need to have some humble pie and bring themselves back down to reality. So it very much depends on the person, the kind of language that works. I'll end with this. It's why affirmations are kind of BS. Affirmations are so great for some people. But for some people, if I tell them to go and do mirror work every day that says, I am amazing, I am beautiful, I am successful, there's a loud part of their brain that yells back, no, you're not. What? Nope. What are you doing? And that part wins. If you can change the language and you start giving these people who have that loud piece, I am becoming a successful version of myself. I am becoming the person who XYZ. And you help them match that with action every day. That's different, because now their brain has the action to pull from. Oh yeah, you are becoming that. You are becoming that, and I have proof through your action every day. Those are more empowering statements for a certain subset. People have really high self-belief. They can do the affirmations all day. And so much so, actually, they actually think it's not worth it because they don't need it. So very individual. That's why it's tough to go online nowadays and just think that all of these statements should land for everybody. And I think there's too many people speaking a little too confidently that their thing is the thing. When in reality, we're all very, very different. It's based on how we're wired.
Boom. I mean, nothing else I can say about that. But time is already up. But man, if you like what you heard, go head over to their website. It's super simple. It's nextleveluniverse.com. We're talking to Amy Lenius. She is personal development and success coach, dynamic speaker, and director of group coaching at Next Level University. Been talking about self-worth and alignment. Life is what you make it. You don't like what's on the channel, get up and change it. It's your responsibility to say, you know what, I gotta make it happen. Of course, disclaimer, it's never easy, but that's why we do these interviews, to help you refocus on what matters. And when you refocus on what matters, you don't have to worry about the next person. You just got to worry about the one you see in the mirror. Are you taking care of that person? You only get one body. You don't get to do this 10 times. You don't get to say, oops, let me just do yesterday all over again. Yesterday's gone. All you have is right now. And when you know the power of the moment, you create better memories because you're more intentional in taking the time that you have left on the clock and making the best of it. And if you can do that, you're going to start seeing life looking a lot better. It ain't about money. It ain't about materials. It's about your soul, your spirit, your heart, your legacy, everything that you're trying to do. You know, you have a blank canvas. Your gift is your paint, but your actions is the masterpiece. That's how you got to flow with life. Just like we flow today. Me and Amy. We didn't have no script. We just kind of said, all right, we're going to do a part 2. And we just kind of like freestyle the whole show. And that's how we did. I think we did great. What do you think, Amy?
I think so too.
Well, like I always want to say thanks for being on the show. If you had something to plug, if I haven't plugged enough, what's one thing you hope that our listeners and viewers will be able to take away, and anything else you want them to know about any future activities you have planned?
Oh, thank you. First of all, thanks again so much for having me. I enjoy our conversations so much. Gosh, they're so fueling and energizing. I appreciate you. I am such a simple being. It's just at Amy Lenius on Instagram and Facebook. I know there's so many more I can't even. And we deeply believe in person-to-person connection. So if you enjoyed today's conversation and want to keep talking, I absolutely want to talk to you. And in my DMs on those platforms, it is me. It's not an assistant. It's not AI. If you have questions, I would love to answer them.
Like I always want to say thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for having me back.